Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Thunder Road. I'm Paul. Today in the shop, we are going to be working on the Jeep again. No surprise there. And I want to go over some of the things that we accomplished from the last video. That was Zach's first video that he had done, and I thought it was pretty good. Anyway, let me show you what we are working on today. All right, so you can see that I've got the grill on the Jeep. I put it on, I actually had the other fender on here as well, but I put it on because we needed to figure out where the radiator was going to fit. This is a radiator that's for like an early Ford Mustang, like a 65, 66 Mustang or Ford Falcon. I couldn't use the stock radiator that came with the Jeep because it was too tall to fit down in there with the manual steering box. So I had to do something else. I actually tried 3 or 4 different radiators, you know, hoping that they would fit. This one, you know, for an off-the-shelf radiator, probably fits better than any of them. It gives me a couple of inches clearance. Actually, I think it's probably, if I remember right, I put the hood on here and just to kind of measure the distance above the radiator the hood was, and I think I got about an inch of clearance between the radiator and the hood. And anyway, it fits in there pretty good. I will have to kind of shift it to the right in the engine compartment so that there is room for that steering box. So the reason that I am changing the steering box is if you've ever driven one of these old Jeeps, the steering on them is a little sketchy sometimes, to say the least. It uses I'll show you a picture of one. I've got it from well, I can go out and show you on the other Jeep. Give me a second. Let's walk out there and take a look at it, and I'll kind of explain why I'm changing it. So for those who don't know, this Jeep is Alice. Alice is my 59 CJ5, who has been a lot of fun over the last couple of years. Alice got wrecked, and so I need to change the frame on Alice. I can't really show you. I think Zach may have showed you some of it, some of the stuff that's easy to see on the frame, but I mean, the frame got really damaged, and to me it's just not worth doing all the repairs on it, so I'm going to use a different frame. But that's why this one's sitting here without the engine in it. But back to the steering. So this is a Ross steering box, which these early Jeeps came with. As you can see, it has this pitman arm. There it is. Has the pitman arm that kind of comes out, connects to this drag link, and it travels up here to a bell crank. You come around the front and show you. So that bell crank connects underneath and then connects to these tie rods. Okay, these tie rods, you know, obviously go to the steering knuckles. Anyway, if you've ever driven one of these old Jeeps, that is a lot of different joints that it goes through, and each one of those joints has a rubber bushing of some sort to absorb vibration and stuff from the road, and you know, bumps or whatever. If you've driven an old vehicle before, you know that as you drive down the road, you know, to go straight, you're still doing this with the steering. When I got the Jeep, I went through the steering trying to eliminate a lot of that motion, that steering wheel motion. And even with all new components, it took some of it out, but it didn't take it all out. But anyway, what I'm going to work on today is connecting the exhaust, mainly I'm going to be connecting the exhaust right here and turn it back to tie it into this exhaust pipe, and then it'll run back through a muffler and out the back of the Jeep. And so I know that to make that elbow, I'm going to need to cut this elbow a little bit to fix it, and then I'm going to, weld one of these V-clamps on to do it. So what I'm going to do is start out by, first off, I need to cut this lower tube up as high as I can. And then I'm going to have to take this bend, and I will cut this bend as close to the bottom of this pipe before it starts to bend, and you can kind of see how it kind of is bent in a little bit. So I want it up here so that the V-band flange fits on there. The reason I'm doing that is I need to make this whole thing a little bit shorter so that it's not hanging down underneath the Jeep too far. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. Probably pull off that flex pipe and cut that tube to start with. This pipe off. Now I need to weld on this flange for that V-clamp. What I hope I didn't do is adjust this camera so you can see a little bit. What I hope I didn't do was weld this one on prematurely. I hope I don't need to cut that anymore, and that I can get the right height by cutting this one shorter. Guess we'll find out. Don't really want to waste a V-clamp, but I guess I could cut it and just weld the tube back together. And that's an option, actually. Leave the V-clamp on there if I need to. That wouldn't be the end of the world. All right, well, I'll cut that off. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I got that installed again.
About time.
I got it cut down, put back on. Now I need to get this elbow, figure out where I need to cut it at, and weld the other V-clamp flange onto it. And okay, I'll be right back when I get that done. Show you where I'm at. Okay, I got this piece welded on. Now going to clamp that on there and take my exhaust tube, stick it in there. I'm going to cut it short. I actually want to start the Jeep. I want to weld this to the pipe, but I want to start the Jeep and just see how it sounds straight piped. If it's too loud, they'll put a muffler on it, but if it's not too bad, then I may just run it straight piped. You know, when I was a kid, I would have just said, oh yeah, we'll straight pipe it. But the older I get, the big loud noise doesn't really do much for me. It's just noise. So I think that I would prefer to have it muffled, but we'll see. I know that my boys are thinking I should straight pipe it, which is what boys do. So anyway, I'm gonna get this hooked up and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I've got that elbow welded in. I haven't welded the pipe in. I've just got it slid into the joint, but I'm not gonna weld it yet. But everything's clamped down. I think that we are going to start it and see how it sounds straight piped. So let me get that set up and I'll be right back. All right, we're gonna start this up. We've just kind of got it wired in. I've got it wired up where there's a toggle switch for the starter, and then that's for the shutoff solenoid on it. It should fire up. So I'm gonna walk over here, and I think that
trying to tuck these wires out of the way.
okay. I think that everything's ready to go on it, so I'm gonna have Zach start it. It's in gear.
I think we're not on jack stands anymore.
Okay.
Now we're double neutral.
So we got the engine started. Had a little mishap at first where it was still in gear, but I don't necessarily know if I like it straight piped. I mean, this engine is pretty noisy. It's just a mechanical diesel. It sounds a lot like an old 12-valve Cummins as far as just the engine noise off of it. And so I think I am going to run it with a muffler. I think I'm going to go with a MagnaFlow muffler on it. I want to be able to hear the turbo sound over the exhaust noise, and so I don't know how possible that'll be because, like I said, the engine itself is pretty noisy, and the turbo is kind of a quiet turbo. It's an RHF4 size turbo, and I think they're kind of known to be quiet, but anyway, it is what it is. I mean, I could hear the turbo whine a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it sounded good. I just don't want the exhaust noise being that loud. So I am going to put a MagnaFlow muffler on this, I think, and see how that goes. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap up this video. The next one we'll probably be installing the muffler on it, and we'll probably do a start again and make sure that it's in neutral this time, so we don't have it drive into the fridge and the freezer. That would put a frowny face on Mama's face, so we don't want to do that. And anyway, I appreciate you watching. Remember to love your neighbor and to love God, and I think that would make this world a better place. So that being said, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.